All right guys, it's Ping out here at Fox Raceway today with another race shop project. This is our 2021 Yamaha YZ450. And I really wanted to make this kind of a focus for me this year for a couple of reasons. It didn't do as well in our shootout as they had hoped to do. They've had a lot of success in the past, but where we tested it this year, we had a real tight, sticky track and a real fast, hard, slick track, and it just didn't handle well enough to score near the front. So I said I want to set out to really make this thing comfortable and handle well. Starting with what we did to it, stock engine. This thing makes so much horsepower. You've got the Yamaha Power Tuner app. They download onto Yamaha's site a bunch of really good maps. So if you don't love the way it feels, you get on your phone, you download those apps, they're the maps, and plug them right in. It's so easy. We are in the what they call the Magic map still, and to me that was my favorite. We just bolted on a Pro Circuit exhaust, and that was it for performance. Just pump fuel, and I would say that for 99% of the population on the planet, it's enough motor. I really focused on handling. So we went to Ross and the boys at Enzo, and these guys have done some Yamahas for me in the past, and they're good with everything. They really know how to make the Yamaha stuff work, the KYB stuff. They're just, man, they're on it. So he said he had a good setting, we threw it in. And I partnered that up with some FCP engine mounts in the front that are titanium, give it a little bit better flex characteristic in the front so that it can kind of initiate turns better. And I thought that might help any issues we've got there. And that was it. We threw on some Dunlop tires, kind of went after the aesthetic. ODI bars and grips, and I'm loving these grips and bars. It's the RC bend, super comfortable. Pro X chain and the sprockets. The paneling on the side is Slater skins. These guys have been around for a while. They've tried this in different iterations. You know, we have a signage issue in our sport. There's every single sponsor that's ever gotten involved will probably tell you that and agree with that. And so as a value to sponsors, this is a great idea. So I wanted to at least try it and give a shot to making it look cool. The boys at SKDA got the outline of it for me, built something that I could put on. And I think they do great work, everything that they do. So Pro X air filter. It also has a Slater Skins air filter cover, which is just raised a little bit to create a little bit more volume, and it's got some vents in the front, so it brings in a ton more air, especially as RPMs start to build, the thing will really pick up. A Chirby's plastic on the front fender, front number plate, fork guards, rear fender. Talon and the guys over there are always taking care of us. Seat Concepts seat cover. If you've not tried one of their seats, it's just a more comfortable seat. Something about the way they shape it, and they can do custom foam for your weight or what type of riding you're doing. Awesome products, stoked on that. A few other companies involved. Works Connection, they provided the oil cover, the caps that are all customized, the engine plug stuff on the side. They do a great job of matching the color of the Yamaha blue and all that. Stuff looks great. Nihilo Concepts, I use their lever grips. I just like the way they make the grips feel. You slide them on and heat shrink them down. They grip right on there. They made custom valve caps for them and rim lock caps that have my number on them. So just some trick little stuff. And then a thank you to Willie over at Lightspeed Carbon Fiber. He made the front lug guard and front disc brake guard for us on this. And his stuff is just very high quality. I always enjoy using his stuff because it's sturdy. It is actually protective, not just cosmetic. And so we appreciate Willie over at Lightspeed. For the most part, that was it. Not a whole lot. We got a Hinson clutch on there, which is just the basket and plates and fibers and cover. On the track, how did this thing go? My first initial impression right away was, oh man, these panels are slippery. And it took about 3 or 4 laps. I came in, just rubbed a little bit of dirt on them. You can just do contact cleaner. As soon as I did that, it was fine. There was no, I was worried maybe it would feel wide or it would catch my boots. None of that. Not at all, didn't notice. In fact, when I stood on the bike and looked down, I kind of grabbed with my knees, and I still had space between my boot and the side of the bike. So no issues there whatsoever. We videoed for probably an hour and a half straight. It's a pretty warm day here, a lot of start and stop, tight sections, never had one bit of overheating, never had anything spill out, no problems. So I know there's a lot of chatter about that. I didn't notice it. Now at a national level, with guys running in much faster paces, humidity, heat, I don't know. They've run them before, not had an issue. And these things can be cut and carved easily to create more ventilation if that's what you need. I will tell you that these are lighter than a standard side plate and radiator shroud if you weighed them side by side. So there goes that theory too. People who were saying they looked heavy, they're not, they're very thin. On the track, the motor, standard Yamaha engine, tons of power everywhere. I try to just shift this thing as quickly as I can, short shift it. Because it has so much torque, I find I stay planted better traction when I just keep it in a tall gear. It does rev if you need it to, but I've just always found it works better in a taller gear. And the suspension, maybe even a little bit soft here today. It's gonna be great for me at like a Glen Helen or Kauai, other places where I typically would go. We had a lot of pros here today. It was very, very rutted and rough, deep, sticky dirt. And so that tends to kind of suck you down into it and make your suspension feel soft. So we went in a couple clicks that pretty much fixed it for me. And I noticed the bike just stays planted and stays hooking up. I think the biggest issue with this bike is traction. And if you get the back end to work, then the front end's skatey. So it's a balance of finding that, and these guys did a great job doing it. So great little bump absorption. That's probably my favorite thing about this. As an older guy, I want the comfort. I want, when I come in and set it into a rut or a berm, I don't want to be banging through those bumps, man. I just want it to be nice and cushy. Still good landings, you know, on hard landings. I didn't blow through and bottom it out, but they really built what I was asking for, and that's just a nice, supple initial first half of that stroke, working through the bumps. Clutch, brakes, all that stuff works great. I do have a Pro X front rotor on that's a little bit bigger, and it works awesome. I mean, I don't need any more stopping power than that. That's a stock line and everything. So these bikes are already really great. It just needed a little bit of tweaking to the chassis, probably more to set it up for me, and the guys at Enzo pretty much nailed it. Between that and the engine mounts, I've got a real soft feeling through the little bumps, but I can get aggressive with it and go harder, and good traction. I steer with the front a lot, so I need to know where that front end is, and this setting affords me that. It just really, I always know where the front end is. I did have a little bit of head shake a couple times. I just came in and tightened my headset a little bit. I like it very loose to where it'll fall, but if it gets too loose, then it starts to get chattery on me, and I mean, I'm just talking 1/8 of a turn tighter, and it's fixed. If you have that head shake issue, I would recommend trying that. Just go to where if you turn the bars sideways on the stand and you just tap it, it'll still fall, but slow. Other than that, love this bike. Thank you to all the companies that got involved, got behind it. This is gonna be mine for the rest of the year to go play on, so if you are out at a Southern California track, come say hi, check it out. Hope to see you there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks to all the sponsors involved in this build. We'll see you next time.